Welcome to France. Here's the lake where we have the problem with the coypus and the muskrats. It's a nice place to sit on a hot summer evening like today. It's about 82 Fahrenheit, 28 centigrade. And down the far end is where the stream comes in, and the coypus. As you can see, the banks are covered in granite that was dredged from the lake to make it a bit deeper. Underneath that is mud, and the coypus love to burrow holes into it. Problem is, they undermine the trees, they undermine the banks. That big tree at the far end is almost completely undermined, following muskrat activity, then followed on by coypu activity. We tried scaring them off, but that doesn't work. Now we shoot them. Later on I'll show you down the west side of the lake here where I go to hunt, and also the far end where the stream comes in, which is now dried up, where the coypus get in. Okay, so here's the pond again looking north. Now we're going to walk down the western side of the pond. As you can see, to the west of the pond there's an evergreen hedge. Through there's a bank about 10 feet down to a ditch, and our small country lane on the other side. This is the lake overflow. As you can see, it's already a couple of feet down. That runs under the bank and into the ditch, and that's where the stream starts again. So in effect the lake is part of the watercourse. Here's the western bank. You can see the granite rocks here that have been piled on top of the mud to raise the banks up back in the 90s. Just have to watch out for the nettles. The country lane is still on the other side of the hedge until we get to this corner here. And the country lane disappears off to the left, and the rest of the lake, if we can see over the fence here, not getting too much sun in the camera, is a farmer's field. The ditch down here at the edge of the farmer's field is where the coypus tend to run up and down. There's quite a lot of cover along this bank, so it's a useful place for spotting and stalking coypus. With good views across to the opposite bank. That's a favourite place for coypus to come out of the water and preen. They rub oil all over themselves from glands by the tail to try and keep their fur waterproof. Okay. Here you can see a big alder tree that's been pretty much undermined by muskrats and coypus. When the water goes down further, all you can see underneath it are holes. Right at the end, that's the coypu trap that I keep out here for the really stupid ones. This part of the bank is normally underwater, but since I know it's there, it's handy for walking along to retrieve any coypus that might have fallen in the water. That's where the stream should be, just beyond the chain link fence, dried up now. And that's the fence where the coypus get in by digging underneath. They tend to like nibbling the young willow leaves from this tree here. What I'll do next is take you up the eastern side of the lake so you can see where the stream comes in from a bit closer. Okay, so from the south end of the pond, or lake, we can never decide what to call it. We'll go up the east side. And down here, if I can keep the sun out of the lens, a little beach where we launch our little plastic boat if we need to retrieve, I don't know, dead coypus from the water. I'll try not to bore you too much and get up there as quickly as I can. To the east of the property we have quite thick woodlands. There are red squirrels nesting in there. Here's the lake running to my left, to the west. And with a quick scramble, and probably a few disturbed frogs, and here you can see where the water's starting to drop down from its usual level. Quite a way down now. And here is where the coypus tend to find their way in. As you can see, I've tried to reinforce the boundary fence with pretty much anything I can get my hands on. There's quite a bit of silt in the base of the stream. The coypus always seem to know that they can dig under it. Looks like there might have been something coming through here. We'll see. Right across the other side here, if I can focus on it. It's probably a bit out of focus. There is an enormous hole in the bank on the far side. There. It's about 2 feet wide and 2 feet high. It's about the best shot I can get of it from here, I think. There. That's a coypu hole. You can probably see why we don't want any of those in the lake banks.